Somehow I'm feeling Willie Nelson this morning.
Really?
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Not really. No cats on the platform right now. They're thinking, let's go back in the garage where it's warm. We got more rain coming in Thursday and Friday, today and tomorrow. Good morning, Ruby. Brightest moon ever this morning. Yep, I just had to listen to it this morning. Boy, that's a young Willie Nelson. A white Model 3 just came out of the Sheetz parking lot. I'm assuming they were there for morning coffee. Our local Fuquay Sheetz does not have supercharger or Electrify America or any other charging infrastructure yet. This is one of those vehicles that's got to give the algorithms that figure out what you're following a little bit of a headache, because it's a flatbed vehicle, but it's got that weird pipe sticking up at the back, and then of course the porta potties are toward the front, and there's not really a lot going on at the back. Sometimes it's been showing up as a car or two cars in front of me, and then other times it does change over to a truck. It's just kind of interesting to see how the car evaluates it. I'm in traffic aware cruise control though, and correctly keeping the appropriate distance, both when moving and when braking and stopped. So yeah, it's pretty crowded out here this morning. Maybe in a minute I'll get around him. It's not exactly the view I was hoping for on the way this morning, but if I needed to use the bathroom. I was really hoping that the moon would still be setting to the west, which is to my left here. After I drop Johnny off, I might come get a picture or something, but it looks like it really fell out of the sky pretty quick here at the end of the moon set. A little disappointed. It was so pretty driving in this morning. Usually, you know, Raleigh is, I don't know, I was going to say up high, but usually when you look west coming through downtown, you can still see the moon. Excuse me. On tap today mostly is just robotics this afternoon. It'll be our last meeting of 2019, and then Taekwondo tonight. Also, our days remaining in the school year is fortunately quickly winding down. I believe Johnny only has to report for exams Monday and Tuesday next week, and then is off, although some of the kids will be in school through Friday depending on what exams they're taking and if they have any makeup exams or makeup work to do. So, but yeah, we're starting to count down those days to not having to get up at 5:30. That is awesome. So, of course, I'm playing my morning Pokemon Go. I just got a Shadow Ralts, which I evolved into a Gardevoir and made my walking buddy. That's pretty cool looking. So I was happy about that. Those Shadow Pokemon are, I don't know, kind of annoying, those battles, but there are some tasks that require us to do them. So I'm working my way through it, but probably not super quickly. It just takes a lot of time, and I'm a shiny hunter mostly now in Pokemon Go, I guess. So I was sitting here just going back reviewing the articles out on Electrek this week, and there are two articles that kind of caught my attention a little bit. One was the story about EV Byte and how they called around to Ford dealerships and tried to see if they could get some information on the Mach-E. And you know, this stuff is sort of like just for fun, or I don't know what real insight that story gives us, but it does kind of go back to so they called, what did they call around to 15, I think, and only at one, they said, did they get really someone that was, you know, could talk intelligibly about the Mach-E. And it's only been 3 weeks since announced, and I'm sure Ford isn't done with their education and all this other stuff. But I do I think the one thing I take away from that article is that a lot of the success of the Ford Mach-E is going to be on whether or not the dealers are motivated to sell it. Now, the article, I don't know if it was Fred that wrote that one or not, Fred Lambert, but basically said that if Ford puts them on the lot, puts a lot of them on the lot, then the dealers need to move them on, need to get rid of them, quote unquote, and so then they're more motivated to sell them. As we've seen with some EVs, you know, you can order it if you're an intelligent, educated consumer, but you may not be able to go look at stuff on the lot. I mean, think about the number of people that bought a Model 3 sight unseen. So, you know, I don't know how much success Ford would have with that model sales for the Mach-E. I mean, I'm sure they'll have some, you know, green-minded people, some, you know, EV enthusiasts wanting to check it out that are willing to go whatever extra mile it takes, whether the people at the Ford dealership know about it or not. But, you know, I think what you'd really want for all of these EVs is the person walks on the lot and the salesperson shows them what they came for, and if it's not the Mach-E, but that looks like it might meet their needs, also, you know, shows them that too, is motivated to want to show them that. So time will tell the success, because they're a really great car. I guess what I'm trying to say, might not get the sales attention, might not get the sales if the salespeople aren't motivated to move it along. So I guess we'll see what happens there. I'm hoping that Ford will roll out additional information. The more people we have, education, the more people we have trained to talk intelligibly about EVs, understand EVs, maybe salespeople that buy EVs, the better, right? The better for the adoption of sustainable transport. So watch that space, I guess. The other article that got me really interested again was the one about the police department looking at how to leverage Sentry mode for police work. I mean, I think we've all seen how valuable having extra cameras in a parking lot can be for both the Tesla owner potentially, and even the cars around the Tesla that has Sentry mode enabled. So I just see, you know, my Tesla loving eyes just saw a really kind of went off like a pinball when you did something really good of the potential for police department sales for Tesla. You know, obviously I think there's, coming from a computer background, that there's a lot of potential for getting rid of that clunky center mounted laptop over here and putting some more police type software on the Tesla screen itself. You know, possibly anyway. So I don't know, that was pretty exciting. I come from a New Jersey State Police family type background. At one point in my life, I wanted to be a state police officer. I just found that to be really interesting. I think there's a market there, a niche market. Obviously, the police force should be driving around in a very efficient and fast vehicle if they want to catch the bad guys, right? And I certainly think departments that have bought one or more Teslas to put into their fleet, that's a great tool at their disposal there when they need it. I really liked everything they said in the article about how it would save the, you know, while it was a little more expensive than the typical car that the department would have bought, you know, some departments have Ford, some departments have Dodge, they realized that there was a significant savings in maintenance and not having to buy gasoline there, and felt clearly that the range was totally adequate, which I certainly agree with. And so I think that was just a great story. And I know every time I see an article on Electrek where someone has decked out or shown a Tesla that has police emblems on it, I kind of get excited. And I think this was maybe the most exciting article to me yet. And so I look forward to hearing even more stories about how police departments around the country and around the world are adopting Teslas and other EVs onto their fleet. I was just looking at what went on in the update, which I ended up putting on overnight last night. When you see the little thing up here, that yellow symbol is it's ready to be downloaded, not it's ready to be installed. And so when I got home yesterday morning, I couldn't install it, but it finished downloading while I was in the house. And then of course I got in the car to go get Johnny and you know, the rest of my day. So when I got home after school, then I scheduled it, and I wasn't back in the car before, you know, this morning. So at any point, you know, it's talking about this lowering of your autopilot speed if it detects slower traffic in adjacent lanes. I have not tested that or seen that yet. Automatic wiper improvements, which I think was in the last release that went on, and I've not noticed a significant change in the wipers yet one way or the other. I haven't driven with there being enough rain to comment on it. I do think that, you know, as per with the release that I put on Ruby, I think that was last week sometime, the you know, lane changing seems to come faster. So that it was definitely noticeable to me. And then this stop sign warning has been added on top of the previously added red light warning. So certainly some things to try to keep an eye out for, and bug fixes and such. It seems to be a stable release. I've not had any issues since I put it on last night. Everything this morning has been, you know, BAU, business as usual. So, you know, every time I go in to look at the release notes, I get this white screen. But honest to goodness, if you'll wait long enough, it usually will draw the text, the rest of the text. See, there it went. I have no idea why this one thing that seems to be so trivial would take so long for the car to be able to. I mean, think about all of the complicated things this computer does, and yet just displaying a basic text screen seems to be the thing that is the hardest for it to do. It's just weird. But I'm on 40.2.1 now, and I also think Tesla should add the release number up here to the what's new in this update screen. Don just helped me load up for robotics. Now all I have to do is not take off, not have anybody challenge me at any stoplight so that I don't sling any of that equipment forward. Just to see if we're paying attention today, they have the left lane closed instead of the right lane closed. Hopefully everybody's paying attention this afternoon. That is a lot of cones. Too bad I can't test them. The bright sun and the pretty city this afternoon, clear skies. You wouldn't think that it's only 46 out there, but yep, it's only 46. I've been listening to my Audible book on the way in this afternoon, Jack Hunt, All That Survives. It's pretty entertaining. I'm on book 2 of 3. You know, most of these series or books these days are in trilogies. But it's a EMP survival book. Takes place, part of it, in the North Carolina Blue Ridge Mountains. And it's pretty entertaining. This is our complicated EV3 code doing the gyro sensor today. So the very first thing it does is a 90 degree to the right. That was a little over.
Are you taking the loop with you?
Okay.
Drag from there.
Huh? I don't know, the first one's good. I just wanted to confirm that the Rainbow Road still worked and see what it looked like with the updated driving visualizations, and I would say that it's still works and still looks good. I tried the Reindeer one a while ago and I get snow and that's it. I had actually heard that that was the case. I don't see Ruby turned into Santa's sleigh with reindeer in front of Ruby at all. It plays the song, you know, Grandma got run over by a reindeer. And I think if the car goes off, the little picture of the car will probably still look like Santa. But yeah, that one's not going to be working for Christmas this year unless they put out a software update to fix it. I know Don's listening to his podcast, but surely he'll see the lights coming up behind him sooner than later. Hey, Donnie. I know he'll be glad when all the leaves are down. We're getting pretty close now. It's a long day. Seems later than it is because it's so dark. Johnny's over at Taekwondo and I've got a couple of things I need to pick up from Walmart. Looky out here in the garden center. Beware, they have put a ton of new Hot Wheels. And you can tell that they just laid them in there too. No luck, and I looked through this brand new big bin too. Oh well. Gifts and gift boxes, so you don't have to hunt too far for them, you know. Well, I got everything I needed except some more Tesla Hot Wheels, which of course I would always love to find. 98.1 miles today and a whopping 419 watt hours per mile. You can definitely tell it was a little bit colder today. Right now it's 38 out there, and Johnny tells me that all the outside cats are in the garage, warm and accounted for.